What's new at Charlie's? What's new at Charlie's? Still on Main. What's new at Charlie's? Tell me what's new at Charlie's? Still on Main.
Hi, welcome back to the first edition of What's New at Charlie's in 2023. Welcome 2023. Welcome Don Williams of Bourbon Fool. How are you, buddy? How's your new year?
I'm good, Charlie. I'm another year older.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. And here we are, right back where we ended up last year.
You know,
Opening another bottle of whiskey together. Not bad.
Some things get better with age, and drinking whiskey is one of those
Yeah.
things.
And apparently you and me. So, well, we'll see how that goes. But anyway, so we're going to kick off this year. We have a bottle of New Riff. It is a Balboa Rye, so it's a special edition. It's a bottled in bond. I'm going to be honest, I don't know much about Balboa Rye, but if only I knew someone that did. Mr. Williams?
The whole story of this bottle is Balboa Rye.
Yep.
They went to a farmer in the area that Balboa Rye was used a lot in the 1930s and 40s, and it's a smaller grain, and I believe that the farmers quit producing it because it took more work to produce. But Balboa Rye was really significant in some whiskeys in Prohibition years back in those days.
Yep.
And the idea is that they're bringing back this heirloom grain.
Yep.
And they're putting it in this whiskey, and no one else is doing it. I haven't heard about Balboa Rye before this bottle came out. And, it's 100% rye whiskey containing Balboa Rye and a little bit 5% of malted rye. So it's still 100% rye whiskey.
Okay, yeah.
But, New Riff is, if I'm not mistaken, we have not reviewed a New Riff.
I was just going to bring that up. I think this is our first bottle of New Riff, which is kind of weird, but yeah. New Riff, I know you've been a fan. You introduced me to the Party Source, and you can let the folks know what the significance of Party Source is and the New Riff. But if you've not been to Party Source, you need to make a stop on your way to Kentucky. But
right. So Ken Lewis was the owner of what I think is one of the great liquor stores I've ever been in.
It's pretty cool.
Called the Party Source. And it's in Bellevue, Kentucky, which is literally on the shores of the Ohio River, right across the bridge from Cincinnati.
Yep.
And I love stopping there, usually on the way out of Kentucky, because they have a great bourbon selection. They have a great craft beer selection. It's really a dynamic place. And if you forgot something or didn't find something during your trip in Kentucky, the Party Source is a great place to maybe find it.
Think of a Costco with nothing but booze.
That's a very
party
good,
supplies.
Very good analogy.
Yes,
right there.
it was huge and crazy, and the bourbon wall was immense.
And it's bigger since you've been there. Good.
Oh,
Good.
man.
I've been there since then, and it was even bigger.
Wow.
The largest selection of airplane bottles I've ever seen.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, the little
ones. Yep, I remember that. Yeah. So no, it's a great thing. But so he has this Party Source.
He does big business. He's extremely successful. He has this idea for New Riff Distillery.
He gets tired of trying to buy bourbon because no one will sell it to him, just like the rest of us. So he breaks ground on New Riff Distillery. In fact, it shares the parking lot with the Party Source. But by Kentucky law, he couldn't own both. So he did something that I think is extremely noble. He sold the Party Source to his employees. Absolutely. What a guy.
Yeah.
Yep.
So his employees are vestige stockholders in the company. And, I always wondered why a lot of them were over the top helpful.
Yeah.
And now I can understand the whole dynamic behind it. And for those of you who really want to understand the dynamic of the Party Source, is they do over $50 million a year in sales.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
And that's like Home Depot numbers.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So that is pretty impressive. And we're not trying to digress.
Yeah.
But they're tied together. New Riff and the
Yep.
Party Source are tied together. They
Yeah.
still share the same parking lot.
Yep.
And New Riff is ultra modern, a new riff on an old tradition.
Yep, that's their theme, is they do a new riff on old tradition. Like I said, if you're going to Kentucky or coming back from Kentucky, it's a great stop. You can hit both of them at once, walk into the distillery, head over to the Party Source. That's what we did when we were there. Great time. But let's get back to the booze. So we've got Balboa Rye. We got 100% rye. That's kind of interesting in itself. That it's nothing else. I'm going to go ahead and crack it open.
And Balboa Rye was native to the Ohio River Valley, which is the area.
Yeah.
And actually, they went to this farmer named Charles Falk, and he agreed to do the Balboa Rye, and he does it specifically for New Riff.
Yeah.
You know, it's a proprietary grain that they're using.
All right. Well, let's see what we got here.
Cheers.
Cheers, my friend. To 2023. Now that's a rye.
It's a rye. There's no age statement on this, but it happens to be bottled and bond, which means it's guaranteed to be a minimum of 4 years old.
Yep, it's got to be at least 4 years. Yep.
It's a smooth rye, and it doesn't have as much of the peppery finish.
It doesn't. No.
Now, is that indicative of Balboa Rye? I don't know.
No one knows. Yeah. It's a little sweet too for a rye.
It almost tastes like poppy seeds a little bit.
I feel like I got a little cinnamon at one point, but I haven't got that in the last couple of tastes.
So lately, I've been trying quite a few more ryes than normal.
Yep.
And this one is right in the middle of the pack. It's you know, not the best I've ever had, not the worst I've ever had. It's a good rye.
It's a good rye. Yeah, absolutely. It is different. It's different than I mean, I can't say it tastes like anything else I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe that is the Balboa Rye coming through. There's a little something different.
Yeah. So I think it's a rye whiskey with not as much peppery finish to it.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's the significance of what I'm seeing.
Yep. Yep.
And I was thinking about something, Charlie. You've spent a lot of time in Kentucky.
Yeah.
As have I. There's something else unique about New Riff that I was thinking about that not a lot of distilleries can say.
What's that?
They have no on-site barrel storage.
Well, yeah, they have a parking lot. They're in a parking lot of a Party Source.
Right.
There's nowhere to store. So
Yeah, so there's not a lot of distilleries in Kentucky that do not store at least some of their barrels on site.
right. Yeah.
But I think they don't.
Yeah.
Now, they might have a place 2 blocks away that I don't know about.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's kind of unique.
That is kind of cool. That is kind of different for them.
But Charlie, here's to a great 2023.
So great 2023. Come in and try some Balboa Rye here at Charlie's for your New Year's resolution. How's that?
And if you can't find something you want to drink here, we'll help you find it.
Absolutely. Cheers.
Cheers.
What's new at Charlie's still on Main? What's new at Charlie's? Tell me what's new at Charlie's still